How did the cosplayer end up being accused of bank robbery? That's the question that kept echoing in my head as I sat in the back of a police car, still wearing my full costume. I had just finished grabbing a late lunch from a taco truck when the world went sideways. Sirens, shouting, people running. I turned to see cops racing toward the bank with their guns drawn, shouting for everyone to get down. Then, I heard someone yell, "That's him! That's the guy!" Before I could even ask who him was, two officers tackled me to the ground. "Sir, don't move," one officer barked, knee pressed into my back. "I'm a cosplayer," I yelled, my cheeks scraping the pavement. "This is for the convention," but I could see the disbelief in their eyes. A man in shiny armor holding what looked like a weapon standing right outside a robbed bank? Yeah, it didn't look good. They hauled me into the squad car while people filmed on their phones. I was never going to live this down if I managed to clear my name. Just 2 hours ago, I'd been posing for photos at the downtown comic convention. Now I was surrounded by flashing lights, police tape, and officers who definitely didn't appreciate me role-playing a battle cry. The convention center was only a block away from First National Bank. I'd parked in the bank's overflow lot because the convention parking was full. I figured, I'll only be there a few hours. What's the worst that could happen? Turns out, a lot. An hour later, I was in an interrogation room that smelled like sweat and misery. Across from me sat Detective Garcia, who looked like she'd seen it all and wasn't impressed by cosplay. "So, Mr. Klein," she said, flipping through some papers, "you're telling me you just happened to be in a full suit of armor outside a bank that was robbed by a man in, let's see here, metallic silver armor and a red visor?" My heart sank. "Wait, what? The robber was dressed like me?" "Pretty much identical," she said flatly. "Witnesses say he ran out the back with a duffel bag and took off toward the parking lot, and guess who was standing there?" "I swear I didn't." "Save it," she interrupted. "Your car matches the getaway vehicle's color. We're checking the traffic cams now." I slumped back, mind racing. Someone had robbed a bank dressed as my character, and now I was sitting here looking like a budget superhero trying to explain I wasn't a criminal. Then I remembered something. "Wait," I said. "My helmet. It records video. I had it on the whole time I was outside the bank." She raised an eyebrow. "You're saying you have footage?" "Yes. The camera's in the visor. The SD card should still be inside." She sighed, muttered something about cosplayers and their gadgets, and sent an officer to retrieve it from my car. While we waited, she asked more questions like where I'd been, what time I parked, if anyone could confirm my story. Every answer sounded weaker than the last. The worst part was, I could tell she almost believed me. Almost, but not enough. When the officer came back with my helmet, Garcia plugged the card into her laptop. The footage popped up. Everything looked normal, until about 2 minutes before the sirens. That's when I saw him. Same silver armor, same red visor, but dirtier, rougher around the edges. He sprinted across the parking lot carrying a duffel bag, jumped into a blue SUV, and peeled out. "There," I pointed. "That's the guy. You see it, right?" Garcia leaned in, frowning. "That looks just like you." "Yeah, because it's my costume design. I posted the build photos online. Anyone could have copied it." She hit pause on the video. The license plate's blurred, but this helps. Just as I started to breathe again, she replayed the footage in slow motion, and something else caught her eye. "Wait," she said quietly. "What's that in the reflection?" She zoomed in on the side of the blue SUV. Reflected in its window for just a second was a face barely visible beneath the visor. It wasn't mine. It was my coworker, Max, the guy who'd been asking me about my costume for weeks, the one who joked that I looked ready to rob a bank when I showed him the finished armor in the office group chat. Garcia looked up at me. "You know him?" My throat felt dry. "Yeah, he works in my department." Max had borrowed my designs. He knew where I parked. He'd even joked about using the armor for something big. I'd laughed it off. Now the evidence was staring back at me from the reflection of a getaway car. Detective Garcia stood, closing the laptop. "We'll send a unit to his address. You're free to go for now, but don't leave town." As I stepped out of the station, people across the street still pointed and whispered, probably thinking I was the bank robber they'd seen online. I stared down at my reflection in the police car window and muttered, "Next year I'm going as something simple, maybe a cop."